Some breaking news, guys. Cruise ship passengers plead desperately for help as they're turned away from a South Florida port. Stay tuned for more. So guys, this is really a developing story. Cruise ship passengers are pleading for help on two different ships, the Holland America Zaandam and Rotterdam, in a bitter dispute over plans to dock in the USA. So this whole mess started originally on the Holland America Zaandam, which departed from Buenos Aires almost a month ago on March 7th, a day before the US State Department advised to completely avoid cruise travel and before any substantial restrictions were in place in Florida. The Zaandam has been rejected from port to port around South America, Panama and Mexico. It's been wandering about in the oceans since March 15th with nowhere to go. Holland America have decided to move 1,400 passengers who appear asymptomatic, so with no symptoms, to another ship called the Rotterdam, so that all the passengers can be given a balcony cabin so that they can get fresh air and some more space. The Rotterdam has also resupplied the Zaandam. This leaves 450 guests and 602 crew members on the Zaandam still. Holland America has said the two ships will remain together for the rest of their journey, and guests on both ships will remain confined to their rooms until final disembarkation. Finally, after weeks in limbo at sea, the Panama government has granted permission for them to cross the Panama Canal, and now both ships have arrived in South Florida. What was strange is that Zaandam passengers have said they were asked to keep to their rooms and keep them dark with the drapes closed as they pass through the Panama Canal. Kind of like they were trying to hide. This really is unfolding to be a humanitarian crisis. 200 test kits have been delivered to the ships via helicopter, and so far, 2 of the 4 people who have died on board the Zaandam have been confirmed to have COVID-19. Another 9 people aboard have also tested positive, and almost 200 are reporting flu-like symptoms. What's worse is that the symptoms are beginning to also appear on the Rotterdam, meaning that both ships could potentially be infected. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida told a news conference on Tuesday that Florida's healthcare resources were already stretched too thin by the outbreak, and to take the Zaandam's caseload would be too much. The governor said, "We cannot afford people who are not even Floridians dumped into the South Florida, using up those valuable resources." Now, what do you think about this? We think that sounds absolutely shocking. You really can't have an attitude like that. Everybody's human, and lots on board are actually American. DeSantis said that he has also been in contact with the White House about ferrying medical supplies to the ships, which is good news. Local authorities are now in dispute over whether to let the passengers disembark or not, with the state's hospitals already being burdened with COVID-19 cases. Whilst passengers on both ships without symptoms are obviously desperately wanting to get off the ship, and they're getting very angry, especially those from the USA, that they are being denied entry into their own country, especially when some of these people are showing no symptoms whatsoever. The really tough question is if these passengers should be allowed to disembark. Will they overwhelm the hospitals? There is growing pressure to turn the two ships away, and some are even saying for them to find another port or a place to dock. This is what's been happening for 2 weeks now, and the spread on board the ships is only going to get worse. Do you protect the people on land from this being spread, or do you let them off and treat them? It's a huge question and a tough decision to make. Carnival, who own Holland America, are asking Port Everglades to let the ships in, obviously. Company president Orlando Ashford has already wrote an opinion column in the South Florida Sun-Sentinel newspaper to plead with officials and residents to let the passengers disembark. He's been quoted as saying the COVID-19 situation is one of the most urgent tests of our common humanity. To slam the door in the face of these people betrays our deepest human values. And honestly, guys, I completely agree. Let's hear some more from Holland America's president, Orlando Ashford, in this video.
It's been a tough last several days, and we've all are working through this unprecedented situation. But I'll tell this to all of you, our first and primary goal is to manage and protect the safety, health, and security of all of you. And so that is our intention with all the activities that we're doing. As we work with government agencies as we work with our superiors, executives across the Carnival Corporation group and teams to make sure that we don't leave any stone unturned to figure out how we can manage you safely back to your homes, which is what all of us want.
So what's going to happen next? The US Coast Guard has said if the local authorities cannot agree on a docking plan, the matter will need to go to the federal government for decision. So what's Donald Trump saying about this? Well, he said at the White House daily coronavirus briefing that he would ask the Florida governor to allow the ships to dock in Florida. He said, they're dying on the ship. I'm going to do what's right, not only for us, but for humanity. And guys, we really have to say that we agree with this. But what do you guys think is the right thing to do? It's a really tough decision to make, but we cannot just allow more people to die on board, right? Surely the right thing to do is to treat the most sick passengers first and get them straight into hospitals with the best care. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. And make sure you subscribe to our channel for all the latest news during this awful time. That's it till next time. Happy cruising!